So, in this video, I was doing a lot of painting, and every time I would paint something, I would go do something else while the paint dried, and that makes the video be like this sailboat work, like fever dream, ADHD simulator. It's just constantly switching to other things. That's why. I'm underneath the nav station here. As you can see, all the walls and everything have turned into that, but I just found a secret compartment. It's great because every time I find a new area like this, the mold smell in the boat, well, initially it gets way worse because of all the mold that's going into the air. But after I get this all cleaned up and it airs out a little bit, the mold smell gets even better. Got painted boards laid out, drying pretty much everywhere that I could find a place to tuck one. Been painting a little bit, and now I need to scrub down all this. I got it scraped out and swept out. I need to do a vacuum and then wipe it down, degrease it, and paint it. I know it looks pretty much the same, but I just put a ton of work into degreasing and scrubbing all this out, so it looks terrible, but it's all clean and ready for paint now. The humidity is so high right now. I didn't think I'd be sweating like this in December, but there's a big storm coming up. This is back in the foot area of the nav station, and this is super wet back here, and it's also crazy moldy. So one more space, it's good to have it opened up, drying out, cleaning out. I mean, it smelled pretty good in here, and now that I open this up, it smells super moldy again. Yeah, that would be definitely make it really wet back there. I don't know how long that water has been there. I don't think it's from like when we've owned the boat. Maybe it is, but that water's been in there for a bit. So basically the way it works is there's just a giant mess on the boat, and I clear out the spot that I'm working in that day, and it just kind of moves the mess around. But the more I get done, the smaller the mess gets. I washed and degreased all of this, and it was just a tiny bit of moisture on it, and I wanted to wait for it to dry out before I painted it. And then I came back and wanted to see if it was dry, and I was like, it seems wetter than it was before. And I was like, nah, I'm crazy. And then I came back and I was like, oh, it's definitely much, much more damp. Air's cooling down, moisture's dropping out of it, and it's dropping out onto the hole below the water line where the cold water is. All right, pretty amazing to think that we started where we started and ended up here. Paint's still wet. I think a little condensation is happening on the paint, which I think will just make the paint take a super long time to dry. Hopefully it won't cause a problem. There's still stuff that I could only get with a brush that I'll have to go back through and get, but that's a pretty good start. So we're having this crazy low tide. You can see from ground level how far down the boat is. It's going to be a little bit of a jump down onto it. I love how you can look out the window up at the bottom of the dock. Alright, so off camera, I got a second coat of paint on here. The condensation kind of messed up the first coat a little bit. Let's talk for a moment about the reality of living on the boat and how that's been. It's been awesome. I know I talked about it a little bit, just how much more like motivating it is and how it's just cool. It's great, I love it. But some of the funny things that like you have to figure out or that like have happened. The fish come up and eat the algae off the boat, and it makes weird noise, and it's like right by your head because you're like laying down sleeping. And so that was like, took a second getting used to it. I think the first night it's just like, what's that sound? What's that? What's going on? And it's like, there's something like knocking on the outside of the boat right now. And so you just have like a lot of sounds to get used to. But life, that's cool. I finished the front drawer, the drawer door. So it pulls out. This is how it's gonna be able to lock it in place so it doesn't come out. It makes sense to me. This one makes me nervous because diesel tank is right on the other side of that wall. And there's a gap here that there's absolutely no way to get into. I feel like I smell diesel. I'm just kidding. I mean, I kind of do, but I think it's okay. I hope it's okay. It's fine. That is very loud. Okay, now I need to paint that. I need to get this other piece in. Alright, so I got the countertops down and got started to put the trim on just to kind of see how it fits. So the counter is a little bit too long here, which means that this piece of trim is a little bit too short. And then also when this piece of trim is where it's supposed to go, the fridge won't open because it just barely hits right here. So I'll have to trim this a little bit shorter. So a couple little minor adjustments. Do you want to see something cool? Get it, it's cool because it's cooler. But actually, like, here's the lock to stop it from coming out when we don't want it to while we're sailing around. And then pulls out. Boom. When I get to the stage where I'm doing the electrical, obviously it won't be like that anymore. I just cut this beautifully shaped piece of plywood for the floor, and I was very happy with how it fits. And then I realized I cut it out of the wrong thickness of plywood. Soon I'm going to head over to the airport to get Zach. I got a space all cleared for him to sleep and have some of his stuff, and the rest of the boat's a wreck, and that's alright. I'm excited. Did I mention this is a super dangerous place to be a vampire? This week so far, I've recorded less than an eighth of the normal amount of video I've recorded for a week. So, didn't record a lot this week. I feel like I worked twice as hard and twice as long as I did last week and got half as much done. It's just how it goes sometimes. Yeah, since I don't have very much video, I thought this would be a good time to talk about some of the things that I wanted to say. But just it's hard to fit everything that I want to fit into less than 12-minute long video. Recently, a good friend of mine said that the best things in life have a lot of front-loaded effort and delayed gratification. And I think he's right, but that can be hard to get through that effort. And so it helps a lot to remember why you're doing something. So I wanted to talk a little bit about why I'm doing everything that I'm doing. Why am I doing this? Because I ask myself that every day. No, I'm just kidding. Someone's coming. So, anyway, when I look at how many subscribers the channel has, we had about 420. It was easy to look at that and be like, by YouTube standards, that's not very many subscribers. But then I went back to Oregon for my dad's birthday and Thanksgiving, and there's people that seen all the videos and were super excited for me, and I guess made me look at it differently and see that that 420 subscribers, there's just 420 people that are interested and supporting me, and that means a lot, and that's really cool. And I hope to inspire people in some way. I hope that everyone watching this is inspired to try something that they're not totally comfortable with, or try something that they've always been dreaming of. It doesn't have to be as big and insane as this, but if I can get this boat and Savannah and I can successfully get this thing saleable and go on an awesome adventure in it, hopefully people are well, if he can do that, I can do this other thing in my life that I've thought about a lot. That would be amazing, because I'm in my work, it's not like Savannah where I'm out here saving people or making the world a better place. And if I could have that positive contribution to people watching this, if I inspired them in some way, that would be really great. And that's also something that motivates me to do this. So I probably made up more than a whole video's length just in rambling there. Fun time. Let us talk. Oh, the paint can's in the way. Oh, that paint can, dude. Whoop. I'm gonna rip my pants more.